Not everyone likes to track money the same way. The good news is that there are so many options out there that you can find a method to track and manage your money that works best for you. So today I'm actually going to combine all of my financial videos that I have shot into one very, very basic budgeting video. So these are the basics. As long as your needs are being financially met, as long as you can manage your debt and savings, and as long as you can avoid overspending, everything else is just preference. So here's how you're going to track and manage your money the easiest way. So if you've tried to manage your money on maybe a budget planner or a spreadsheet and it just wasn't working for you, that is okay. Let's take a few steps back and try to do the very least. All you need to do is figure out how much it costs for your expenses to be covered and make sure that you have that amount in your bank account every single month. Start by figuring out your regular monthly expenses. These are expenses that you pay for every single month and the amount does not change. Your rent or your mortgage, utilities, insurance payments, debt minimums. This is going to be really easy for you to figure out because you just go to your bank statements and every single month on the exact same day, those expenses are going to be taken out of your account. And you're basically halfway there at that point. Next, you're going to estimate your other monthly expenses like food, gas, transportation, things like that. I recommend going back 3 months into your bank statements to do kind of like a good guesstimation on how much you roughly spend every single month, because some months you might spend more on food, some months you might spend less. So if you go back 3 months and average it out, I always find that that is a good solid number for you to kind of base your budget off of. Once you figure out those numbers, add your monthly expenses to your other necessary expenses, and that number, my friend, is your budget minimum. That is the minimum you need to have in your account every single month to make sure your life is taken care of. So if spreadsheets overwhelm you, if budgeting overwhelms you, you now know the very basic number. That is your golden number. You need to have X amount of money in your account to survive every single month. Now, when it comes to paying your regular bills, you can either just have it on auto pay, which is something that I recommend, or if you want to pay it manually, I would also recommend setting up kind of an alert system on a calendar or on your phone to make sure that you know exactly what days bills are due, and then set that alert to a few days before that so you can make sure that your payment goes through on time. I am a huge fan of payment automation. Actually, all types of financial automation I think are just the bomb, and we'll talk more about that later. But that way you just don't have to worry about it. You honestly set it and forget it. Payments will always be paid on time and in full every single month. In fact, some bills may actually offer you a percentage off or a dollar amount off if you set your payment to auto pay. So for instance, we have AT&T, and if you just automate your AT&T payment, or at least for us, I think they took off $5 from our monthly bill. But I also found out that if you automate your payment through a debit account, then they will take off an extra $5 off a month. So in total, I was able to save us $10 every single month simply by automating a payment. So auto payments not only save you time and effort, but also money. Just make sure you have enough money to cover the auto payments in your bank account. Auto payments is also a really great way to pay off any debts. I know for student loans, this administration is doing a bunch of really insane things right now. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest in student loan debt, student loan repayment, Department of Education, there's this guy on TikTok. His name is MoneyWise Lawyer. He is always up to date on the latest news, so I would encourage you to follow him. But remember, for every single debt, even though you're going to set your payment auto pay maybe for just the minimum balance, you also always want to add more on top of your monthly minimum in order to pay off your debt quicker, because if you only pay the minimums of your debts, you're never going to touch the principal, and therefore you're never going to become debt free. So when I was in all my debts, I would always set my auto pay to the debt minimum And then at the end of every month, or when I knew I had extra money at the end of every week, I would throw as much as I could at the debt that I'm focusing on in order to get out of debt faster. But if you don't know how to use credit cards appropriately, using a credit card can become a curse very, very quickly. Again, I did a 5-part series on credit card basics, so please do check that out. I'm not really going in depth about anything this video. This is very much basic surface level budgeting method information. So if you are in credit card debt, I do advise you, or I would encourage you to check out the series above. But just know that you have to pay off your credit card in full every single month in order to avoid those crippling interest rates, and then also kind of avoid any debt accumulation from those interest rates. And yes, credit card payments can be set onto autopay as well. I know I'm spending a lot of time on autopay, but if you are not a budgeter, if you're not someone who cares about, committing to your money like that, which I don't advise. I really do hope that you will get to the point where it's important for you to know the ins and outs of your finances. But if you're not there yet, I think that autopay is the best way to not only make sure that all your bills are paid on time, but also that you're able to achieve your financial goals. Now, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about budgeting properly, I'm going to link my How to Budget for Beginners guide in the cards as well. A lot of information will be in the cards. Another way you can track your spending is to use a single debit or credit card that can track or categorize your spending in a way that you don't actually have to. This way, all your monthly purchases will be on one statement that shows you how much you spent and where you spent it. So if you are overspending, this might be a good place for you to check out what categories you're overspending in and where you need to make those cuts. You can also sign up for account alerts that can alert you to when you're reaching your spending limit or that you've hit your checking minimum. I am actually a huge fan of kind of like the one card situation. I only use 2 cards. One is for personal spending, one is for family spending, and I found that that is the easiest thing. But if you are someone that loves multiple cards, there are a ton of money management software and apps for you to sign up for that can help you manage all those accounts. They will automatically track your expenses, your investments, your savings goals. There's a lot of programs out there that'll also help you track, your family spending as well. All you have to do is link up your accounts into this one program and it does all the work for you. I know that there's a lot of programs out there. The one that I used to use and I referred a lot of you guys to was Plenty, but Plenty was actually just bought out, which, is really cool for them. But now I'm testing out Monarch Money and I really like it. So if you have an app or a program that you love, please let us know in the comments. I will link Monarch in the description box if you want to give it a try. So once you figure out how much money you need to pay off your bills, you also want to put money aside. Also, you can auto save for your financial goals like saving and investing. You know how much you need in your bank account every single month for your expenses, right? I'm hoping that you have money left over for your other financial goals, whether that's paying more towards debt or paying more into a savings account or an investment account. If you do not have enough money at the end of the month outside of your expenses, you're going to, 1, have to cut your expenses, and 2, you're going to have to make more money somehow. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just the reality of the situation if you're trying to make moves financially. Figure out what areas you're overspending in, where you need to cut, and what sacrifices need to be made in order for you to reach not only your baseline, but your other financial goals. But if you do have money at the end of the month to contribute to your financial goals, you can also auto pay or auto save those financial goals into whatever accounts you want. Now, once you take care of your expenses and your financial goals, you now can have some fun with your money. Yes, like I mentioned, you can continue to throw money at your debts or your financial goals. That's what I did for 2-3 years, but you can also use that money to buy something that you've been eyeing on. I am not one who believes that budgeting needs to take out everything that's holy and good in your life. I know how frustrating it can be when you don't treat yourself occasionally. So if you have money at the end of the month and want to take yourself out to sushi or want to buy yourself a little treat, then please go ahead and do that, as long as you have the money to do that. And that's it. That is a very basic breakdown on how to budget and manage your money if you don't actually want to budget and manage your money. If you're not someone who wants to be super involved in their finances, I do hope that changes, because there is so much value in actually like learning and understanding and appreciating kind of the comings and goings of your finances. But if you're not there yet, I feel like everything that I talked about in this video is probably the only way that you'll be able to make sure that you're at least in a financially healthy spot, by making sure that you know your financial baseline, how much you need in your account every month, putting things on auto payment or auto debit, and if you need, also adding kind of usage of an app or a financial program to help you further understand your money. I think those are kind of the very basic, easy ways for you to go to make sure at least financially you're okay. But again, I hope one day you do see the value in taking an active interest in your money. I've mentioned and linked a bunch of videos up top. I'll also link some resources in the description box. And if you have any questions for me or you want to contribute to this conversation, let me know in the comments. I'm ajadang. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.